What if a gacha game decided to push the boundaries of the usual gameplay you're used to and deliver a special mix of genres you won't see anywhere else? Well, this video is about to show you that. Special thanks goes to Alchemy Stars for sponsoring this video, so make sure to check it out using the link in the description. Just by looking at the gameplay for a few seconds, you might think this will be your traditional strategy game where you move around the units, beat up enemies, and claim victory in a regular, boring way. Well, it's definitely not the case here because this game is basically a mix of a couple uncommon genres, and the unique line strategy RPG system the developers have created comes with its own set of surprising mechanics. And the most basic explanation would be that you move your avatar in any of the lines that share the same color, which can be done even in adjacent squares, and the more tiles you complete in a single line, the more powerful your attack will be. Now, that's just the start, but the next awesome thing about the system would be your actual teammates. Since gacha games nowadays love to operate on elemental systems, every character comes from either water, fire, forest, or thunder element, which means these elements actually work as a color, so if you create a blue line, every single character who's from the water element will damage enemies that get into your way. But this also comes with two caveats. First of all, you can only ever make a single color line, something you should be familiar with if you ever played one of those matching color games, but more importantly, any character who is designated as the leader of the party will not depend on the color of the tiles, so you can easily put a fire character into your leader spot and they will still be able to attack from thunder, forest, and water tiles, not to mention the fire itself. And what this basically means, if you have a character you love in particular, not only will they act as your avatar, but you will also get to watch their animations and attacks each round because they will always attack while the rest of the teammates will only come out if the tiles match their element color. Now, if that was just it, then the game would be awfully boring to play, but as you can imagine, every single character who's called Aurorian comes with a unique skill and a chain combo, and the latter is just a fancy description for how many tiles you need to connect in order to unleash their chain combo. For example, with Mrs. Blank, just by doing a 2-line connection, she will damage everyone surrounding her at the end, or if you manage to turn it into 8 tiles, then the chain combo turns into a more wider attack. Keep in mind, this isn't in addition to the regular attacks you get to deal to any enemies you encounter along the way. But the beauty, of course, are the skills, which can be activated before you start creating a line, and some of them are pretty insane, like Maggie's, who can push back enemies in a cross shape and, more importantly, turn every single affected tile into a red color. That's right, manipulating the board itself is a big part of the game, and this is where a lot of satisfaction comes from the gameplay. Finally, the last thing to mention would be for those geniuses out there who will manage to create a streak of 15 tiles, because you'll get rewarded with an additional round, meaning you can create another line for free and enjoy shredding your enemies to pieces. But where's the fun in taking out your enemies if you don't even know what's the actual lore of the game? After all, squishing some of these cosmic bugs must have some sort of a purpose, right? Well, the story takes place in Astra, where Aurorians and Celestites have lived since the beginning of time, and while peace has been around for hundreds of years, a new and sudden appearance of dark creatures called Eclipsites have emerged, who are controlled by a dark organization from the shadows. Now, while this is a classic light versus dark story, you are one of the few remaining Celestites after the war with the creatures of the dark, and by a small chance, you get to start a new life by recruiting Aurorians and fighting the good fight against the forces of evil. Cool, but what does that actually mean for you? Well, you'll get to meet a lot of different characters and socialize with them, so having a little backstory about the game helps to understand their purpose, which is why we need to take a closer look at some of the Aurorians. Let's all be honest here, most of us enjoy gacha games for the chance to get one of those cool characters, and luckily, Alchemy Stars doesn't seem to be lacking in that department. First things first, the gacha system itself is pretty simple. All you need to know is that the rarest 6-star character has a 2% chance to show up from the recruitment, but there is a pity system, and after 50 times, if you still didn't get one, every single time you recruit and that pesky 6-star doesn't show up, an additional 2.5% chance is added on top of the existing one until you unlock the 6-star and then the counter resets. So, for example, at 69 recruits, the next one would result in a 50% chance to obtain the rarest character, which is more or less a coin flip that gets better and better after each recruitment. And what's cool about the pity system is that it will carry through the limited and standard banners separately, so if you miss out and fail to get the featured 6-star, the pity rate transfers to the next limited banner. Okay, so that's the gacha itself, but what about the characters, or in this case, the Aurorians you get to unlock? Well, each of them comes with a unique skill and chain combo, as mentioned previously, and raising them isn't that complex, since you have the usual leveling with resources and then ascension, which can only be done when the character is at max level, and then you get to increase it further after the ascension. But what's interesting is the breakthrough, where each additional copy obtained of the same character can be used to further boost their powers. However, the best part is that the 3-star Aurorians do not require specific duplicates, so you are able to break through them to the max and unlock special features, like allowing this character to speed up his skills activation. And since we're on the topic of rarities, it seems to be that even a 4 4-star can have awesome skills like Silva, who is a wood element Aurorian that is able to dash to the other end of the board and damage anyone who is in your way, which is interesting enough, but the power of this comes with the fact you can reposition yourself and find new lines to create. Or how about the previously mentioned Maggie? We already know she can knock back enemies and convert tiles to red color, but her chain combo has 3 variations, and the last one is pretty sick that nearly covers the whole board. Still, the most exciting rarity most of us are after would be the 6 stars, and this account got lucky enough to pull Sariel, who specializes in creating water tiles on the board. Now what's awesome about her is that when you start the round, a lot of characters' skills will be set on a cooldown, but some of them are able to use the skill if it's a preemptive one, which is what Sariel is able to do. So if your starting position on the board is lacking water tiles, she can immediately quench your thirst by transforming some of the nearest tiles around her. Now hopefully you haven't fallen asleep yet from all of these explanations and expositions, because the heart of the game lies in the line RPG system, where you get to have fun with 5 characters you bring to the battlefield. Just look at this. The enemies are far away, surrounding colors suck, and you can't draw a good line for attacking, so the next best thing is Silva's skill, which immediately zips us to the other end of the board. Then after moving and attacking, next round, Maggie follows up with her awesome knockback and conversion that annihilates enemies' health bars, and then it's a free-for-all buffet of matching red color tiles. In fact, some of the skills are so ridiculous you can basically win the game by just using them alone. That's why probably the developers decided to add the cooldowns to most of the skills and make the game balanced, and you will understand this yourself when you can just literally start demolishing everyone when you have as little as 2 or 3 skills ready to be used. Now imagine once you get good at the game and know precisely how to use these skills from the get-go. So with the few minutes of showcasing of characters and the combat system itself, there's still a few more interesting things we need to take a look at. Besides the most obvious things you can expect from most mobile games, like beginner's quests that give out an abundant amount of rewards for the most simplistic of tasks, there's also a dedicated base development feature called the Colossus, where you can interact with the Aurorians you've collected, assign them to different rooms, and take advantage of their specific abilities, designed to help improve the room's efficiency. Just keep on adding more rooms, expanding the base, and collecting the resources. But the beauty of the game definitely lies in the character artwork and design, which the developers have stated that more than 150 different artists have worked on producing the artwork and models. Not to mention, a lot of high-profile voice actors have been hired to bring them to life. And this combination of nice things pays off when you've got the exploration of the main story, plenty of side activities, the Colossus itself, and of course, the never-ending dopamine rush of hoping to pull that next 6 star from the gacha system. One thing worth to mention would be that world building actually feels coherent, and it's actually fun to read and preview some of the enemies you're going up against, like Crow-Eye, who's absolutely nasty if you don't take care of it, because every round it's alive. While it won't try to attack you, it instead summons these annoying probers who will start harassing you with ranged attacks, so you want to take care of these spawners as soon as possible. Even the first boss fight against the giant worm felt pretty epic, since you can actually preview the enemy's attack range, so finding a safe spot and unleashing powerful attacks gives a lot of satisfaction when you're done drawing that attack line. But putting it all together, Alchemy Stars' approach to colorful matching of tiles and the massive starting roster of unique characters gives a lot of potential to build different team comps, like maybe going for a mono water team that can manipulate the board and turn anything in close proximity to blue tiles, or perhaps instead giving a chance for that classic rainbow team from each element is more favorable, since you can never be too cautious of what's to come, although you can kind of see the enemies you'll be battling. But speaking from experience of being a lazy gacha gamer, it's usually one team you brute force through most of the levels until you hit a brick wall, and then go off looking for a YouTube guide on how to clear it. Luckily, you can solve a lot of problems by simply leveling up and then hitting your foes with a bigger number, which is honestly a relief when you don't have enough brain power to outsmart the level design, or, you know, go into recruitment and hope to find that next 6 star. It's probably safe to say that Alchemy Stars is paving the way for a new mix of gameplay types, and while some of the mechanics we're familiar with already, there's definitely a lot of things you won't see other developers trying to do. Obviously, the biggest and most fun activity is the line strategy RPG system, which even if you can leave it on auto, like in most other gacha games, there's a ton of satisfying executions you can come up with when facing off against your enemies. Not to mention every character feels unique enough, and you can also come up with a lot of different team comps. Will it be a single monocolor that manipulates the battlefield and turns everything to water, or will you go rainbow style and shower your enemies with a chaotic combination of elements? Either way, with so many features and a fair gacha system, sitting down just for a minute can turn into an hour of strategy-filled gameplay. And if you haven't done already, you should definitely check out Alchemy Stars by using the link in the description. And even though this is a sponsored video, only games that this channel approves of will get showcased, and Alchemy Stars is truly offering innovative new gameplay for those who especially enjoy colorful strategy games. But as always, make sure to gently press the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, your support helps the channel survive at expensive editing costs, so you can help out even more by checking out Alchemy Stars by using the link in the description. Thanks for watching and see you next time.